Dogworks Radio is sponsored by Alaska Dogworks. Check out their website at alaskadogworks.com.
You can support this podcast on patreon.com/First Paw Media.
Coming up this week, we celebrate Saint Roch, the patron saint of dogs, on this episode of Dogworks Radio. Listen in to find out how this man became beloved by so many in times of need.
From First Paw Media, sponsored by Alaska Dogworks Professional Canine Training Center in Anchorage, Alaska. This is Dogworks Radio, committed to families and their dogs to build lifelong and fulfilling relationships. Visit our website at dogworksradio.com. Now here are your hosts, Robert and Michele Forto.
Hello and welcome to Dogworks Radio. I'm your host, Michele Forto. I'm also the lead trainer of Alaska Dogworks, where we help you have a better relationship with your canine buddy. Speaking of relationships with dogs, did you know that August 16th is the annual feast day of Saint Roch, the patron saint of dogs? Saint Roch was a Frenchman born to nobility way back in 1295. So it may seem strange that he is recognized as the patron saint of dogs, but there's a lot more to the story. Patron saint of dogs. In addition to being the patron saint of dogs, Roch is the patron saint of invalids, falsely accused people, and bachelors, as well as the Italian cities of Dolo, Parma, Palagiano, and Cisterna di Latina. I'm obviously not Italian, so I apologize to those of you out there that know how to say those city names. While he was born into money, he didn't appear to be a big fan of it. After losing his parents at the age of 20, he began wandering the countryside near Rome. Roch was well known for donating not only his money, but his time to the peasants who suffered from plague. The plague strikes. After years of helping others and donating nearly his entire fortune to others, Saint Roch eventually caught the plague himself. Not wanting to burden others with his care, he entered the forest to die alone. As he suffered, starved, and was alone, he was discovered by a stray dog. Roch fully expected the animal to attack him and end his suffering. Instead, the animal brought him bread to eat every day. The dog returned with food, then stayed by his side to care for him. It is said that this hunting dog healed Roch by licking the wounds the plague created, bringing the man food to keep him alive. Cared for by a hunting dog. Eventually, Roch recovered. He and his newly acquired dog went to town and discovered that the dog was owned by a local count who had been a friend over the years. Surprised and impressed, the dog was presented to Roch by the owner. Together, Roch and his newfound four-legged friend began traveling again, eventually returning to Montpellier, France. But Roch's life was not yet over, and more adventures awaited them. Arrest and imprisonment? After they returned to France, Roch and his dog were arrested as spies. They would both spend the next 5 years in prison together. Some believe that the dog survived by caring for other prisoners. Others say that the duo were cared for by an angel. Whatever the case, Roch never mentioned his nobility to prison officials, and as a result languished in prison under false allegations until his death in 1295. There isn't much mention of Roch after his death. The only data we can find is in the Golden Legend, a collection of hagiographies by Jacobus de Voragine that was widely read in late medieval Europe. Anon, an angel brought from heaven a table divinely written with letters of gold into the prison, which he laid under the head of Roch. And in that table was written that God had granted to him his prayer, that his to wit, that who that calleth meekly to Saint Roch, he shall not be hurt with any hurt of pestilence. While history does not tell us what happened to the dog, Many feel certain that he appears in the form of every dog in the lives of our own. So what do you guys think? Have you ever heard the story of Saint Roch? Tell us about it in the comment sections on our social channels. Just search First Paw Media. And one last thing, did you know the single best thing you can do for our show is tell your family and friends how you listen? Who knows, they might just become a rabid listener just like you. I'm Michele Forto for DogWorks Radio and First Paw Media. See you next time.
From First Paw Media, this is DogWorks Radio. We hope you enjoyed this podcast, and we invite you to subscribe in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. You'll find a link on the episode notes. You can tap or swipe on the episode cover art, and you'll see some offers from our sponsors. You can support our show by supporting them. If you like what you have heard, we would love it if you could give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe too. Your hosts are Robert and Michele Forto. Our producer is Robert Forto and created for First Paw Media.
Voragine.
You love that guy's name so much.